Can it freeze?
Jamming in the background.
Yeah, look, you can't hear it?
Is that your music?
Yeah,
Is
of
that
course. Listen,
your
you know
singles?
I'm a one-woman whole, get it out your trunk shop.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Meet the. And today we get a chance to meet the Impartation Strategist.
Yeah.
And I said that right off the bat because if I play with it, I mess it up. Impartation Strategist.
Yeah.
The one and only, I don't know what that is. The one and only Miss Renee Ambush. What's going on, Renee?
Hey, Troy, how are you?
Now, Renee's a homegirl.
Troy the everything.
Renee's a homegirl, but she's from Baltimore, but literally lives in Los Angeles and Burbank too. From Baltimore to Burbank, B2B, baby.
Oh, I like that. I like
That's
that, the B2B.
And Renee will make it a T-shirt. You see it? She has a Destiny Over Drama T-shirt. That's they can get that from you. They can get that from you online.
They can get my Destiny Over Drama T-shirt. Yes, absolutely. You can order it all. www.rebirthofrenee.com. I'm gonna give you everything.
All right, let's go right in. So, for those that don't know, and that's everybody, because no one's ever heard of it. No one knows what an impartation strategist is until you tell them, which I love about it. What is an impartation strategist?
So you know what I'm going to give you. I'm going to tell you what an impartation strategist is not. Have to do it because, again, it'll help you understand what it actually is. Now, that might sound a little twisted, but let's go into it. So what I'm not is a life coach. I'm not the giver of life, so I can't coach you on something I didn't give you. And I don't do any kind of motivational speaking. When we understand motivation, it literally just motivates our soul, our feelings. So what I do as an impartation strategist is I help ignite what's already innate inside of you so that you can become a better person. I really just bank on what you've been born with. I help you to see it a bigger way and a better way so that you can live your best life. That's what an impartation strategist is.
Help ignite. I like that. You help give action, ignite. You light the fire to the charcoal so that they can burn.
I do. I'm passionate about it, Troy. I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about. And I'm really passionate about imparting and empowering. And that's through everything I do.
Awesome. So, Rebirth of Renee. Where did you come up with that title, that concept? Why that? For your website, the music, the book, what is it? Rebirth, what do you mean by that?
Because I actually had a natural birth, as we all have. That's why we're here. But the rebirth of me was understanding who I was, not only as an individual, but as a woman. Going through a whole bunch of life struggles and challenges and having to overcome them, I had to actually really be redesigned within my own self, within me, to understand who I was. And after recognizing and understanding my validation, my worth, my all that, I'm like, wait a minute, I just had a rebirth. Plus, it was kind of catchy with the whole Renee thing. So the rebirth of Renee, it just went together.
So you're a prolific entrepreneur.
I really
am. I want to, because I'm big on, and people may see this at a later date. So just in case we mention any dates or anything, because I keep the interviews pretty generic, but we don't have enough time to go into the entirety of your testimony.
Absolutely.
I know you. So even in knowing about it, somebody asked me this recently, and I'll pose the question to you. Somebody from Baltimore, I was talking to him, he was like, what keeps you going? And I said, well, first off, God. I said, second, I don't have enough quit in me. I said, third, I've had too many wins. Meaning that once you know that you can do something, it's kind of hard to keep you pressed down. Once you have a certain, for you, from relationships to loss, I mean, extreme loss that most people could never imagine. What is it that lights the fire under you? And we're going to talk about your movie project as well. But what is it that lights the fire under you? What keeps you going?
As you said, God definitely is the one who keeps me going. And once I understood what kind of agent I was for him, what kind of vessel I was for him. It's my passion, my purpose, and it keeps me going to help people to understand that they're not stuck where they are. Honestly, that's about the destiny over drama. And it's actually my mission, my life's purpose, to make sure that I touch everybody that I'm in contact with, to help them know that they are not what happens to them. They are not what challenges that they're facing, that they're bigger than that they actually have a destiny for their life. They have it over top of the drama that they have. So literally, as long as we have people on earth, I am driven. So wherever, we've got life everywhere. So wherever life is, Renee is there. And I'm like, and that's what drives me, to see people live their best life and become their best selves. I know what it is to hurt. Like you said, I know what it is to overcome. I know what it is to be so deep in anguish that you're like, do I want to see another moment? And because I was able to overcome that, I want to help somebody else overcome that too. So as long as we got people, I'm driven.
You have a passion movie project. Tell the
Yes.
people the name of the project and what it's all about.
Yes, like you said, we are Baltimoreans. I am proud, no matter what they say, what they lay. I am Baltimore slay all day.
Be more representative.
Oh, what? Be more. And I used to work for the Baltimore City Police Department, and I've seen a lot, I know a lot, heard a lot, been around a lot. And what propelled me, again, like I said, being an impartation strategist, is I wanted people to see the humanistic part of an officer. I wanted people to really understand that all lives matter. Now, I know we can get a little political with that saying, but that means everything to me. I believe that all lives matter, and officers are lives. And we have to understand, in order to really deal with the core nature of the thing, we've got to deal with the core nature. Behind a badge, behind a uniform, is an individual. An individual that's a mother, a father, a uncle, a sister, a brother, somebody's friend, you know what I mean? And they go to work every day like we do. It's just, I'm going to say, fortunate and unfortunate that they have to go and they have to police individuals who won't hold their own selves responsible. And we don't talk about that. We talk a lot about the police brutality, but do we talk a lot about the police as a human? And we already know through national news everywhere that Baltimore is on the map. And usually the higher percentage of things about Baltimore is negative. And being from Baltimore, and myself, if nobody else, to say, I think I done darn good. I'm not the only one in Baltimore that's about good. And I wanted to focus on the officers because I want to bring back some understanding and some real answers to being able to solve some of the problems in Baltimore. So I wrote a film called The Better Baltimore, looking at, like I said, the humanistic side of Baltimore City police officers. And maybe if we can find some compassion and empathy for the individual, we'll understand and sit down and talk and come to the table together and have a good kumbaya and come up with some answers.
Oh, sorry.
I'm deep. I'm deep,
No, I tell people all the time, and I'm the same way. Each situation I have to look at individually, anything that's happened with police brutality, because it's like somebody talking about your faith or someone talking about someone. If it wasn't for the Police Athletic League in Baltimore, I might not be here. I wouldn't have had a summer camp.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't if it wasn't for the police in Baltimore that pulled me aside when me and my crew was ripping and running up and down Woodlawn and Security Mall, running through trying to cause no ID on us, and pulled aside and say, hey man, let me see some ID. It's like, oh, I don't got nothing on it. He said, if you don't have ID on you, I can do whatever I want to.
Absolutely.
I was
And
like,
let's
huh?
go with something as simple as this, Troy. We want those same officers to protect us when our car is being broken into, when we're being beaten, when something is being stolen. So we have to understand, without any kind of structure, there's chaos, right?
Right.
So we have to look at our own community and individual responsibility behind this thing too. And nobody is kind of focusing on that. But that actually help is the other part of the answers to creating real answers, Baltimore. So I'm gonna have to pull out my crab tea, because that's my crab tea. It's called Create Real Answers Baltimore. But yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It does. We have to take our responsibility in that.
And I appreciate the fact that you're doing that, because like you said, a lot of people don't. And especially like they're talking about Mike Bloomberg and the stop and frisk and all these. We know about we know the history of the policing after the 13th Amendment, then we understand what that's all about. The thing is, like you said, if you don't put an individual with each and every experience you go through, you're going to find yourself hating groups of people or be so guarded between that. And you've been through, like I said, you've been through a lot of situations. How do you stop from being guarded? So guarded. You're pretty open. You sit down and talk. Huh?
Yeah, I said, no, you're right. That's a challenge. And I am very open. And it came with the understanding of, if I am not in a position to share with somebody else to help them, honestly, this is just my own personal mantra, then what use am I making for myself or for others? Like, what is my whole being? You understand what I'm saying? That if I went through it, I went through it for a reason. Now, mind you, that's a whole mindset and changing your perspective on a lot of things, because that takes strength, and it's get ready to seem oxymoronic, but strength means it's okay to cry. It's okay to share. My background is that of a mental health counselor. So, I like to get all up into the head and understanding, but to the core of every person is a deeper person. And once we start dealing with that, it really finds our strength. But what we are taught is that if we do those things that make us look weak, then we're actually weak. But those are the very things that make us strong. So I cry a lot. I talk a lot. And that is what gives me the strength to keep on moving forward, because I get to empty myself so that I can be strong enough to carry somebody else.
So with that, I'll get into I'll do the book and then the music. Tell the folks what your book is about. Your book, name of your book, and what's it about?
I was ready.
Raise it up a little bit more. Raise it up. Silent Screams.
And this is me and my cute little self. Yes, it is. It ain't right. No, but this is a book. It is an autobiography. Only not even 1/3 of my life. But this book speaks to overcoming sexual trauma, including domestic violence, incest, and molestation. And like you said, we don't even have enough time or web space to talk about my testimonies, but you're talking 10 years of continuous sexual abuse through molestation and incest. And this in itself supposed to have stopped me and shut me up. But actually, this was the very strength to help me say, I did this, I overcame it, I'm still here, there's destiny over drama. And if this is a part of your life story, you can do it too. It's going to take some work, let's be real with it, but you can do it too. And so this is what this book is about.
And I get on we talk about the movie tip and the production tip. You and I have talked about that, and how it's important for us to show different aspects. And sometimes the things that get greenlit, my daughter came home the other day and she's like, can I talk about Harriet Tubman? I was like, no, it's somebody else. You love Mae Jameson. I went into this whole thing. Yeah. But she did. I said, yes, you can do it, but you're not going to dress like, I'm telling you that. And she was looking at me like, I said, Zoe, we have so much more than just slavery as a history. Yes. So people need to know about, like you said, your history is not, that part is not the entirety of your story. And like I said, show your book, and your book talks about one thing. You have another aspect that you're an advocate for adoption and children and stuff like that. It talks about a whole nother thing of why and how you got involved with that. So the reason I really wanted you to touch on that, because, and I'm glad you did the way you did, is because somebody is not talking. Mm-hmm. The hope you have not because you ask not is not just asking for something. Mm-hmm. It's opening up to receive something. So a lot of times, like you said, you're going to talk about it. You're going to let people know this is the deal. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. And that's extremely key, because a lot of times we think we're by ourselves. Absolutely. You know how it is. If I can separate you, then I can defeat you, and you think you're by yourself. So
divide and conquer.
Your music called Paralyzed. Talk about.
Yes, you can find Paralyzed on YouTube. I've got a YouTube page. What's that? Rebirth of Renee. I'm telling you, I'm making it real easy for people to find me. Paralyzed. Yes, please go and check it out. It is a song, of course, written by myself. And it's about those things, again, those challenges, those mindsets, those perceptions, those boxes that we're in that keep us from moving forward in our God-given purpose. You know, a lot of times, and like you just touched on it, Troy, you said a lot of times we don't talk about it. Sometimes it's just that not talking about it that keeps us paralyzed. Now, we look at paralyzed at as a physical state most of the time, but paralyzation is that very state of being that keeps you frozen and beyond, not able to move beyond where you are. And I want people to move beyond paralyzation. Move beyond paralyzed. You were born on purpose, for a purpose, in purpose. Do that thing. You won't be satisfied until you do.
You won't be satisfied until you do. All right.
That might be a shirt.
That is a shirt. You won't be satisfied until you do it. And
Yeah.
let them figure out what are you talking about, girl?
Yeah. Yes, right?
All right. So how can people get in touch with you, Renee?
I am, again, for the website, it's www.rebirthofrenee.com. My IG is Rebirth of Renee. You can find my merchandise on Facebook at, and this is a little different, Out the Box Jewels and Tea. Now, because I got to be different, it's spelled THA. Not an E. We got to use the A. Make sure you put that A in there so you can find merchandise there. I was ready for you, Troy. I've got, I'm a domestic violence advocate, and like you said, foster care. I am just about fighting for everybody who either doesn't have a voice or doesn't think their voice is strong enough yet. So this is one of my jackets. Can you see this?
Yes. We are fighting for each other.
We are fighting for each other. Yeah, so I'm like this. I've done it in this design, and then I'm going to show you this design because I want people to know you're not alone. Somebody is fighting for you and with you, even if they don't know you by name. Somebody is calling out your situation. Here you go. You like that one too, Troy?
Oh, yeah. We are fighting for each other. Oh, now you got to make them in Zoe size so I can get.
Oh, I got them. Got paralyzed t-shirts in kid sizes and everything. Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I think we left. Okay.
I got to get the Zoe size so I can get it for the little one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I have those, and just a lot of sayings and a lot of things to remind you to think about whatsoever things are lovely, just, good rapport. Think on those things. That's what we do. That was my first book, and we don't talk about that too much. I don't even know if you know, but it's called A Minute to Think About It. It literally only takes scientifically 60 seconds to change a negative thought into a positive one. If we just change our mind and look at our focus and our perspective and change that one thing, it trickles and begins to show us a different perspective in a positive manner when you change that one thought. And that's all we need is a minute to think about it.
Y'all think it's a game. Go ahead and talk. My cameraman's getting tired. I don't know what's going on. Y'all think it's a game. Go ahead and reach out to Renee. Rebirthofrenee.com. RENEE.
Yes.
Rebirthofrenee.com. Rebirth of Renee on Instagram. Renee Ambush. You can find her on Facebook. And Out the THA Box. Jewels and Teas.
And Teas.
Thank you, Renee Ambush.
Well, thank you, Mr. Troy. Thank you so much. I am honored to do this. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you. You're doing some phenomenal work, and the best is yet to come.
Yes.
We'll talk to you in a bit.
All right. Peace. Destiny over drama.